Move over, Avas, make way for chrysalises. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and I've got a good one tonight. Now, this trend's older than most of the books I talk about. It's definitely a young adult novel, so please be forewarned. And it is the fantastic Iron Widow by Xiran Zhao. And this was pretty darn good. I'm already excited for the sequel. As the story starts, Zetian wants revenge. Her sister was chosen as a concubine pilot to serve in a chrysalis. Male pilots control the beasts, and they all need a concubine pilot with them, who unfortunately are essentially there to provide energy. The vast majority of the concubine pilots, the vast majority of girls going into these chrysalis mechas, die in the process. But they're needed. They're needed to help fight off an invading threat. Other giant creatures that only the chrysalises can fight. So Zetian's sister was going to be one of those concubine pilots. And she did die, but it happened before she even made it inside a chrysalis. Because those pilots, those boys and young men who can pilot the chrysalises, not many rules apply to them. And so Zetian changes course. She starts doing everything she can to become a concubine pilot, so she could be matched up with the pilot who killed her sister, and so she could take her revenge. And in the course of things, she does. When she gets into the chrysalis and goes into battle with him, she finds that they end up sharing sort of a mind space where they compete with each other. And instead of passively allowing him to drain her, she fights back. She ends up taking control of the chrysalis. She ends up draining that pilot's energy, and he dies in the process. And she becomes known as an Iron Widow, one of the girls who is so strong that they can kill the boy pilots who are in there with them. So as a result, she gets paired up with another pilot, one with an incredibly high battle power, and who is very, very, very well known because he killed his family. And she's forced to be his concubine pilot. And in the course of things, the two of them have to learn to work together in a way that neither one of them dies, and to give the public what they want in order for them to get what they want. This was compelling. The chrysalises and the mechanism for running them was lots of fun and very, very interesting. This was a really, really good allegory for the types of misogyny that happen every day. The Ava inspirations were well done, and you can see that the story takes a lot of inspiration from Neon Genesis Evangelion, and hey, it was done very, very well. It also takes some cues from things like the Skullomance series by Naomi Novik. The idea that there are people who essentially have to be sacrificed so that others can live, and that's a not talked about secret that's in the open, that people are going to die, and we do it to save more than die, and we let everyone believe that they might be one of the ones that makes it out. It was really, really good. There is going to be a sequel. The lead up to it was incredible, and I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel. I can't wait to read it. And I highly, highly recommend this. If you like giant mecha stories, if you like revenge stories, if you were a fan of a Game of Thrones and Arya Stark's list for people she wanted to kill that she would recite before bed, Zetian does something very, very similar that was really, really great. if you like the Hunger Games, but specifically the second book in the series, Catching Fire, where Katniss and Peeta have to play up their life together and their romance to make people believe that they were the star-crossed lovers, that they weren't really rebelling, there's some of that in here too. And it comes out very, very, very well. Now, there are spoilers ahead because I have to talk about the deal breaker. Now, in the course of things, Zetian ends up getting closer to Li Shimin, and they actually make a pretty decent team, and they manage to make his mecha transform into something beyond what others have managed. Together, they're incredibly powerful in the battlefield, and they start making plans to launch an invasion of their own to take back a territory from the invaders. And they get double-crossed. And Li Shimin ends up seemingly dying in the process. Zetian gets out, and she goes the only place she can think of, into a volcano, to bring back a legendary pilot and chrysalis, an Emperor Class 1, that was put there when the pilot developed a disease and he froze himself until a cure could be found. It was great. The only real problem I had, and this is a minor nitpicky gripe, is that the classes of chrysalises, they're given ranks, but the ranks seem to be based on English nobility for the most part. Okay, not emperor so much, but things like duke and earl aren't, as far as I know, part of China's rank structure. And if those ones felt really, really out of place, because the story is very clearly written to take place in China or a China analog. And those ranks just felt really, really out of place. I suppose it could be just translating the equivalent Chinese nobility ranks from some point into the English equivalent to make it more accessible to Western English reading audiences. I'm not sure. It felt a little out of place. And I did warn about spoilers. I did not see the Ender's Game ending coming. I did not expect that, in fact, they were the invaders and they'd come to a completely different world to invade it, and were just told that they were under attack and were being invaded all this time. It caught me by surprise, and it was well done. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to the sequel. Go borrow it from your local public library. While I'm on that topic, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer. And a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for listening to me talk, not in as much depth as I wanted, about why Iron Widow is so great. Go read it, go like, go subscribe, and check back and see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.